Welcome back to the Daily Crypto Deep Dive. Today, we are looking at one of the biggest questions in the market right now. If Bitcoin stabilizes, where does the next wave of money go? Because every crypto cycle has a rotation. First, Bitcoin leads. Then, Ethereum wakes up. Then, money starts looking for higher beta, stronger narratives, and faster-moving sectors. And right now, even with the market still nervous, we are starting to see signs that traders are already hunting for the next altcoin leadership group. But let's be clear from the start. This is not a guaranteed altcoin season. This is not a blind call that everything is about to explode. The macro picture is still complicated. Inflation expectations are still high. Interest rate fears are still hanging over the market. Bitcoin has only just started to recover after a sharp pullback. And when Bitcoin is unstable, altcoins can get hit even harder. So the professional way to look at this is not buy every altcoin. The professional way to look at it is, if Bitcoin holds its range, if fear cools down, and if risk appetite returns, which sectors are most likely to attract attention first? And right now, the answer seems to be Hyperliquid, AI tokens, Solana, XRP, and the broader real-world infrastructure trade. The first name we have to talk about is Hyperliquid. This has become one of the clearest momentum stories in the market. Hyperliquid is not just another token with a nice chart. It is a Layer 1 blockchain heavily associated with decentralized perpetual futures and high-speed trading. In simple terms, it sits right in the middle of one of crypto's most profitable and active markets, leveraged trading. That matters because speculation is part of crypto, whether people like to admit it or not. When traders come back, they often come back through platforms that give them speed, liquidity, and direct exposure to market volatility. Hyperliquid's Hype token recently pushed to a new all-time high, and that is important because it happened while the wider market was still fragile. When one asset is making new highs while the rest of the market is nervous, that tells you it has relative strength. It tells you capital is already rotating into that story. And in crypto, relative strength matters. The strongest assets during uncertain conditions are often the first ones people chase when conditions improve. What makes Hyperliquid especially interesting is that it is not just riding the usual exchange token narrative. It is also tied into the bigger idea of decentralized finance becoming more sophisticated. We are no longer just talking about swapping tokens or chasing meme coins. We are talking about on-chain derivatives, perpetual contracts, synthetic exposure, and tokenized markets. That is a serious shift. If crypto is moving toward a world where more financial activity happens on-chain, platforms like Hyperliquid become part of the infrastructure story. There is also a more speculative but very important angle here: tokenized and pre-IPO style trading products. Platforms connected to the Hyperliquid ecosystem have been used for trading exposure to assets like SpaceX before public market access. Now, this does not mean buyers are getting real equity. These products can be risky, complicated, and outside traditional protections. But the narrative is powerful. It suggests traders want 24/7 exposure to markets that used to be locked behind Wall Street access. That is exactly the kind of story crypto loves: speed, access, speculation, and financial disruption. So Hyperliquid is one of the strongest candidates to lead an altcoin rotation because it combines three things: price strength, real usage narrative, and speculative excitement. The second major area is AI tokens. This is where we need to be careful because AI crypto can mean a lot of things. Some projects are serious, some are pure hype. Some are just attaching the word AI to a token because it attracts attention. But the broader AI narrative is still one of the biggest investment themes in the world. NVIDIA, data centers, compute demand, AI agents, machine learning, automation. All of that is still driving massive interest across markets. So naturally, crypto traders are asking which tokens could benefit if the AI narrative comes back into crypto. The main names people usually watch are beginsThis, Near Protocol, render-style compute projects, and other decentralized AI infrastructure plays. beginsThis is especially interesting because it is built around the idea of decentralized machine intelligence. where contributors compete to provide useful AI outputs and receive rewards. Whether it becomes a dominant AI network is still an open question, but the narrative is very clear. If AI becomes the defining technology of the decade, and if people start caring about decentralized alternatives to big tech-controlled AI, then beginsThis becomes one of the obvious crypto names traders look at. Near is different. Near is more of a scalable Layer 1 and Web3 infrastructure project, but it has leaned into AI and user-friendly blockchain applications. That means it can benefit from the overlap between AI, consumer apps, and blockchain usability. Again, that does not mean it automatically goes up, but it means it sits in a category that traders understand. In altcoin rotations, narratives matter almost as much as numbers. The market looks for a story it can explain quickly. Bitcoin is digital gold. Ethereum is smart contracts. Solana is high-speed consumer crypto. Hyperliquid is on-chain trading. beginsThis is decentralized AI. Near is scalable Web3 and AI infrastructure. That is why AI tokens are worth watching. They have a global macro narrative behind them. They are not just crypto-native stories. They connect to one of the largest investment themes in traditional markets. The third major name is Solana. Solana is not new, but it remains one of the most important altcoins in the market because it has something many projects lack: actual usage, strong mindshare, and a clear identity. Solana is the fast chain. It is the chain associated with cheap transactions, consumer apps, meme coin activity, DePIN, payments experiments, and increasingly institutional-grade infrastructure. The reason Solana matters in a possible altcoin rotation is because it often acts like a bridge between serious infrastructure and speculative appetite. When markets are strong, Solana can attract retail attention because it is fast, cheap, and active. But when the market becomes more institutional, Solana can still remain relevant because major players are watching high-throughput chains for tokenization, payments, stablecoins, and real-world financial rails. That combination is powerful. Ethereum may still dominate in terms of institutional trust and deep liquidity, but Solana has become the chain many traders associate with growth, speed, and momentum. If Bitcoin stabilizes and capital starts moving down the risk curve, Solana is one of the obvious large-cap names that can benefit. Then there is XRP. XRP is a different kind of altcoin story. It is not the same as Hyperliquid. It is not the same as AI tokens. It is not the same as Solana. XRP is driven by payments, regulatory clarity, institutional speculation, ETF hopes, and one of the most loyal communities in crypto. That community matters. In crypto, attention is liquidity, and XRP has attention. But XRP also needs to be handled honestly. The recent warning around fake Sama and airdrop scams shows that XRP holders are being heavily targeted. That does not mean XRP itself is broken. It means scammers follow attention. When an asset has a large, engaged user base, criminals build fake websites, fake wallet claims, fake airdrops, and fake social accounts to exploit it. So for XRP, the deep dive angle is two-sided. On one hand, it remains one of the major altcoins people watch whenever the market rotates. On the other hand, the community needs to stay extremely careful because hype periods bring scams. From a market perspective, XRP could still perform well if the next rotation favors older, high-recognition altcoins with strong retail communities. XRP, Dogecoin, Cardano, and similar names often come alive when broader retail appetite returns. But XRP's strongest version of the story is not just price go up. The stronger story is payments, cross-border settlement, institutional rails, and whether XRP can remain relevant as tokenization and stablecoins become bigger parts of finance. So if we put all of this together, what does the next altcoin rally actually need? First, Bitcoin needs to hold. That is the foundation. If Bitcoin keeps chopping violently lower, altcoins will struggle. A real altcoin rotation usually needs Bitcoin to either grind upward slowly or consolidate without collapsing. When Bitcoin is calm, traders get confident. When Bitcoin is violently falling, traders reduce risk. Second, Inflation and interest rate fears need to calm down. If markets believe the Federal Reserve may stay hawkish or even raise rates again, speculative assets can remain under pressure. That affects altcoins more than Bitcoin because altcoins are usually higher risk. So the macro backdrop matters. Third, liquidity needs to return. ETF flows, stablecoin supply, trading volume, and overall risk appetite all matter. Altcoins do not rally in a vacuum. They need money. They need attention. They need traders willing to take more risk. Fourth, narratives need leadership. This is where Hyperliquid and AI tokens become important. Every altcoin rally needs a frontrunner. In previous cycles, we had DeFi, NFTs, Layer 1s, gaming tokens, metaverse tokens, and meme coins. In this cycle, the strongest narratives may be on-chain trading, AI, tokenized assets, Solana infrastructure, and selective major altcoins like XRP. The big mistake investors make is assuming that an altcoin rally means everything rallies equally. That is usually not true. In more mature markets, capital becomes more selective. The strongest narratives run first. The weak projects lag. The tokens with no usage, no liquidity, and no clear story can still get left behind. So this next phase, if it comes, may not be a full everything season. It may be a leadership season, and that is actually healthier. A market where only stronger stories perform is more professional than a market where every random token pumps for no reason. It means investors are starting to discriminate between hype and structure. Hyperliquid has a trading infrastructure story. AI tokens have a global technology narrative. Solana has usage and speed. XRP has payments, community, and institutional speculation. Those are at least understandable narratives. But the risks are just as important. Hyperliquid has already moved strongly, so chasing after a huge run can be dangerous. AI tokens can be volatile, and many of them are still highly speculative. Solana can get hit if network confidence or meme coin activity weakens. XRP can stay range-bound for long periods even when the community is excited. And if Bitcoin loses support, nearly every altcoin thesis gets delayed. So the answer is not to blindly ape into everything. The answer is to watch leadership. Watch what holds up when Bitcoin dips. Watch what makes new highs before the rest of the market. Watch where volume increases. Watch whether traders are rotating into real narratives or just chasing noise. Because the strongest signal in crypto is often not what people say. It is where capital actually goes. Right now, Hyperliquid is showing strength. AI tokens are regaining attention. Solana remains one of the strongest large-cap infrastructure plays. XRP remains a major retail and institutional narrative. And if Bitcoin can stabilize, these are exactly the types of assets that could define the next phase of the market. So tomorrow's deep dive is not just about chasing altcoins. It is about understanding rotation. It is about asking where money goes after Bitcoin. And it is about separating real leadership from fake hype. Because if the next altcoin rally is starting, the winners will not be random. They will be the projects with the strongest narratives, the strongest liquidity, and the clearest reason for traders to care. As always, this is not financial advice. Crypto is volatile, and altcoins carry serious risk. But if you want to understand where the next wave could form, watch Bitcoin first, then watch Hyperliquid, AI tokens, Solana, and XRP. Because if risk appetite comes back, those may be the names that tell us the market is ready to move again. Like and follow, stay sharp, and we will see you at the top.